The film begins by showing a dense forest in which we see a boy wearing a yellow hoodie running. He looked so scared that he got tired and got down on his knees. Fear was evident on his face, as if some dangerous monster was following him. After this there is a scene change, and in the next scene we see a red bus driving down a deserted road with 5 children on a picnic trip with their school driver. The name of the driver of these children is John. This driver is very old and experienced. All these people are enjoying themselves in the bus when a news comes on the radio which tells that there is going to be a lunar eclipse tonight, which happens only once in 20 years. John is excited to see it, but the kids don't care. Now we are shown that the road passes through the woods where John has to stop his car after a short distance because the road ahead is closed. A huge tree has fallen here and a machine was also standing there. But there was no man in it. It seemed that those people had come here, but he is not here. Now, after covering such a distance, John didn't even want to think about going back. So he decides to take a shortcut, which was not the right decision, but he also had no other option. And here we also see a human hand buried under the wood. Well, after moving forward, these people reach a place as if winter had come and fog was covering all around. As these people advance, both the forest and the fog become denser, due to which their fear also increases, and at the same time we are also shown the skeletons of some animals, which made it seem as if all of them have gone to another world. Well, after moving a little further, they have to stop again because a dead deer is found in the middle of the road. John goes down to flank the deer. But after doing this, when John returns to the bus, he is not alone but is accompanied by another man, who held John at gunpoint. His name is Petro, who is a psycho serial killer. Preys on children and bites their tongues. It was arrested by the police a few years ago. But a few days ago, it ran away from there and hid in this forest. Now he wants to go to this city by making these children as hostages. All the kids are terrified by this, and John even drives at her behest to keep her calm. Well, now these people slowly enter a tunnel. It was quite big. It seemed as if there would be no end to it. In the case of this psycho serial killer, no one could notice that on a board it was written that this is a military zone and it is strictly forbidden for common people to enter it. Well, shortly after entering the tunnel, their bus suddenly breaks down and Petro takes a kid at gunpoint and asks John to fix it quickly. John tries his best, but he doesn't understand the problem, and then in the light of the bus, he sees a monster on the road in front of him whose color was black and he looked exactly like a bat. Out of fear, the serial killer sends John to check him. Then suddenly the light in the tunnel also goes out, and now as soon as John reaches that strange monster, that monster suddenly stands up and brutally takes John's life. Due to the darkness in the tunnel, no one can see anything properly. But John's painful scream worsens the condition of everyone, and especially the serial killer Petro was very scared. He just wanted to get out of here. But John has the car key. When the serial killer does not dare to go, he sends one of these children out. One of these girls goes out named Jane. She is very scared to see John's condition because his body was in a very bad condition. Jane sees the same monster in the corner of the tunnel, and as soon as she turns on the flashlight, the monster hides in a corner. But she realizes that it is the same monster who took John's life. Monster who looked like a human. Now Jane runs away and comes back to the car. Whatever she saw, she tells them all. Now Rez tries to start the engine with that key. But the bus has broken down and suddenly they hear the sound of someone's heavy feet and screeching on top of the bus. Now these people were not safe even in the bus. But Petro did not want to die like this. So he gets off the bus to hunt monster. But on the contrary, his life is lost. These children try to protect themselves somehow by closing the door of the bus. But that dangerous monster just opened the door with his sharp nails. Comes inside. Now everyone starts screaming out of fear. The door on the other side was also jammed. That is why it is not opening. Now in the meantime, Jane remembers that this monster hid when he showed the light. So this time also it does the same. All these kids scare him off the bus with flashlights. After this they find an underground passage near the tunnel itself, from where it starts going down. But it is also very dark below. So they do not understand anything here. Well, now these people take a path and go to a room. There were many candles lying there, and also a floor map from which Ina knew where the generator was. Now Jane and Nolan understood that this monster can only be defeated by light. So everyone sets off to find the generator, following the map. Now these people reach there. But before that they see a skeleton on the way, and it seemed as if this human would also become a victim of this monster. On the other hand, Queenie has to go to the bathroom. But she is too scared, so Reggie goes with her. Well, now it stops at a place, and Reggie moves away from Queenie. But still don't know how that monster takes him with him. Now Rez also calls Carl, and they both start looking for Rez. Now while passing through the dark paths, they hear a voice of that monster. Following that voice, these people reach a dark corner. Here they find Queenie, but seeing her, their condition worsens because the monster was lying on top of Queenie. He held her completely tight. Now to save Queenie, Razie attacks her with fire, and this saves Queenie's life, but he captures Razie. Carl and Queenie just stare. They do not understand what they should do. At the same time, Jane and Nolan turn on the generator and the whole place lights up, which finally forces the monster to run away. Raze handles himself in the same way, but he was still shaking with fear. Well, now these three leave here to find Nolan and Jane, because here they all have to stay together. 'Cause no one is safe here. While turning on the generator, Jane and Nolan see the situation there. Seeing all this, it seemed as if someone lived here. Because there were many missing posters on the wall, and there were also sketches of this monster. Apart from this, there were some papers and a diary on which the names of Julie and Sarpi were written. And this was the same guy we saw running at the beginning of the movie. It was many years ago where Golio Serpi and his sister accidentally came into this monster's tunnel while taking a walk. Both these siblings loved adventure. But Goli had never even dreamed that his sister's life would be lost at the hands of a monster in such an adventure. But at that time neither his parents nor the police believed his words. But the bullets continued their search. After 20 years in this tunnel he came back. He made this tunnel his home and stayed here to collect all the information about this monster. He also knew about this monster being light sensitive. That is why he made a high voltage machine with the light of which he could easily control this monster. But before its completion, he also lost his life. And now, 20 years later, his group is stuck in this limbo. They find out here that this monster is like a parasite that feeds on the blood of humans and animals, and that both of them had already been attacked. Reggie was fine though. But Queenie's shoulder was bitten by him. Now, at first, the plan of these five was to get out of this tunnel. But he now realizes that he should complete the unfinished work of the bullets. Otherwise, this monster would eat the whole city, and anyway, while that monster was alive, these people could not even get out of here. Queenie was very weak. She will not be able to participate much. So these people make a plan. They find the pill machine and connect all its connections. Now this machine has become workable. So Nolan turns off the generator once again with the sound of the radio and Queenie's blood luring the monster out. The plan was that Jane would turn on the generator as soon as that monster came in front of the machine. This monster will be blinded by the light, and then everyone will burn him to death. Well, now these people start their plan, and that monster also comes in front of them. But the handle of the generator was so tight that Jane could not lift it. Reggie was right in front of that monster. He could hear her breathing. Now Nolan gets her attention by calling out to save her. Pulls Jane also makes similar noises to save Nolan. Now once again they bring this monster to the machine by luring it with blood, and Nolan pulls the handle with all his might, and suddenly the whole room is filled with high voltage light. And this time Monster's condition worsens a lot. The three boys attack the monster together, and the two girls run outside following the map. It was early morning outside, and in the light of day that monster could do no harm to them. They think that it might have survived, but the monster comes from behind, proving them wrong. Jane and Queen are scared. But actually it was a part of his plan. Now we see the three boys coming from the darkness of the tunnel in this direction with spices in their hands. Now this monster had sunlight in front and fire behind. This monster was badly trapped in their trap, and seeing this opportunity, they set fire to that monster. This monster turns into ashes in front of them after appearing in the fire, and finally the five of them are able to get out of the tunnel in the right way. Now Queenie is treated, and these people also inform the police. But no one believes in them either. Now next day, an officer comes here to check, and he was sure that he will not find anything here. But as soon as he enters the tunnel, he hears the sound of an animal growling, and suddenly his flashlight breaks down and we see the same monster behind him in the dark. What happens to this officer is not shown, but his screams are heard in the darkness. That is, it also became a victim of this monster, and with this the film ends here.